Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. These are some continuing exercises that I am just demonstrating and sharing with you that I'm doing whilst my face is in not the best condition due to some impending dental work and dental issues that I have. So just a little disclaimer, caveat, if you are playing with dental or facial or chops discomfort or pain, whatever it is, and you don't know what the problem is, be sure to get it checked out. We should never really be playing in any pain or with any pain. Things happen on the gigs, etc., and we can get a little bit silly sometimes, but in the grand scheme of things, playing should be as effortless as possible. So if you have any teeth, chops, lips, headaches, whatever it is, issues, then think about them first before you think about I suppose trying to find a way to play with them or manage them on the gig. Unless you know what it is, that's a different thing entirely. If you're new to this channel, etc., I have been focusing recently on some chat and demonstrations about a dental issue that I have, and that this tooth here and this one secondarily are going to be getting replaced because the roots are broken. So won't go into that too much. There's enough of the chat and that already on the channel. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be delving into another one of the exercises that I find really help me maintain a degree of ability whilst having discomfort in my face and whilst dealing with a degree of pain while I'm playing, waiting for my operation, and also really just making sure that I can play and do the job. I have had to step back from some gigs. There's some things that I haven't taken because, one, I don't want to make a mess of the gig. Two, I don't want to hurt myself, and also I don't want to let anyone down who books me for these gigs. And also there's my own professional standing to think of as well. So that's something else to think of. So we're jumping back into a routine, or rather we're jumping back into Flexus today. The first video should be up around about now, and it looks specifically at gentle lip flexibilities. I've spoken briefly about how Laurie Frank has got another study called the Integrated Warm-Up, and this study we're looking at today, which is from Flexibilities Part 3 or 3 Flexibilities, looks at note bending. And note bending, if you are not familiar with it, I have done a video on it and I'm hopefully going to be redoing that soon. I'll try and put a link up there or down there or something. Anyway, and you can have a look at how I describe and what I think about lip flexibilities there. What I'm going to do is just going to jump over to my other screen and read the little bit of literature that is at the header of this section of work. So these exercises involve two complementary skills. Let's start again. These exercises involve two complementary skills. Number one, maintaining a pitch while moving the valves, and two, moving the pitch without using the valves. Practicing the material in this section will dramatically increase your flexibility in a very short time. Begin by playing exercise 1 and 7 several times each. When these can be played comfortably, add exercises 2 and 8, then 3 and 9, etc. Eventually, exercises 14 through 23 should form a daily routine. When earlier exercise is reviewed from time to time. Note, exercise 6 is very difficult. Keep working at it and eventually you'll get the third space C to come out. So, you'll see how that goes in my own demonstration. So a little recap, not to go over anything else I've already gone over in previous videos. I believe that lip flexibilities are a key component to having a good centered sound, an in-tune pitch, and also a good quality of tone. For me, lip flexibilities allow me to exercise not only the corners, but the tongue control level, any jaw control that we might have to rely on for pitch enhancement or moving around the instrument, and also a little bit of aperture control. We can learn to manipulate all these little things to a degree where they don't become an issue on a gig in terms of getting in the way. So too much jaw control or too much jaw movement when we're playing trumpet for real can be an issue. using our corners too much or pinching our lips together to control the aperture, etc., will be an issue in terms of tuning and stamina and everything else. I believe lip flexibilities really, really, really make a big difference in this. So, enjoy the exercise. I'll jump in and out along the way to provide comments on the particular exercises that I'm playing at any one time. In the description here, it talks about moving through the exercises in a slightly different way. So when these can be played comfortably, for example, exercise 1 and 7, several times each, then moving on to 2 and 8, 3 and 9, etc. In this video, I don't do that. I play through them all consecutively because I have done this many, many, many times. Okay. Enjoy the video and I'll jump in and out and I'll see you at the end. Enjoy. Okay, so we're going to be moving into sections 8, 9 and 10 now, and this is where things probably start to get a little bit tricky. I think the previous exercises when you're going from the A up to the C, exercise 6, as was mentioned in the preface literature, getting that C to come out on 1 and 2 is really, really tricky because obviously our C is right next to our C sharp, which is on 1 and 2. So those partials between those bent notes and those played notes are super close together. So it really makes us think about how we're controlling our throat and our tongue position and what we're doing with our embouchure. Later on, when we're going up to around about the F, the first valve F on the stave, I've left a couple in here. You can hear how awkward they are and how deficient the tone is in terms of the quality of sound throughout the exercises. So when we're bending in exercise 10 from the open C down to an A, which is normally in valves 1 and 2, it's quite tricky. Having a good centre of pitch in your ear, I think, is fundamental. I sometimes, in fact I did it this time with the tuner to try and help me at least aim to be in the target zone of the pitch. I don't know many people who can actually bend exactly into the pitch and be 100% bang on for very long. Anyway, so moving on. Okay, so exercises 17 to 22. This is where we start to get a little bit, or we have to be a little bit more focused in terms of the small, minute controls that we have to do with our embouchure. Purely because our partials, our open partials, are becoming a lot closer together. So obviously from our C to our E, it's a major third. But then when we go from our E to our G, it's a minor third there. So we've got less distance to play with between the E and the G. This means that when we bend down to our first valve F, that F is really, really close to an E, and it's also close to a D as well. So the trumpet is fighting us to go in a different direction other than where we want to. And this is where this fine aperture, embouchure, corners and tongue control really, really comes in. I find as well when I'm doing bends, note bends, that my diaphragm is working a little bit harder as well, because I'm really trying to control the air. I want to be in charge of everything that's going on. Okay, remember, it's not about playing these bends as a perfect note. It's about the exercising of all the oh, there's a good word coming. All the systems that we have as trumpet players to make our playing as easy and as free and in tune and musical as possible. So as we move through these exercises and we're moving up and down between a C and a G, we have the opportunity to really, really focus on getting these bent notes locked in. The exercise, now which one is it? It is, well, exercise 20, where we have to play to the F sharp, and then we have to make a distinction of that when we're moving down on 21, where we play an F natural. That's really, really good distinction, you know. That slight chromatic pitch change, absolute gold. And then I suppose it's kind of like the glory one in terms of like going how high you can, or moving through a scale without using any valves. I'm going to try and add something in at the end of this video just for fun. Moving from a C up to an A without any valves. It's good fun. It's tricky. It's a good challenge. I actually enjoy this one quite well. And as we move through the rest of the exercises, we take a slight departure from the slower linear movements onto some slightly different ways to use our bending techniques. Okay, the last part of exercise or flexibilities 3 starts off again with an exercise 1, purely because it is a slightly different way to work our bending facility, I suppose. Now, when you look at this exercise, you have a D major scale, or the first part of a D major scale, written from a D to an A. And then the second part of the exercise, all nose breaths through here, incidentally, if you have to, if I haven't said that before in the video, if you have to take a breath anywhere in these, which you shouldn't really, take a nose breath so you're not disturbing your embouchure. Anyway, part 2 of exercise 3, exercise 1, we play our D major scale from D to A, and then we play that exact same pitch on the valve fingerings of E flat major. So you basically play D, E, F sharp, G, A, G, F sharp, E, D. That's really hard to think about saying and doing that on the valves at the same time. I do it a lot easier when I'm playing. And then the next one moves on to the exact same exercise with E major, but using F major valves whilst retaining the E major pitch. Now, there's only a small excerpt of this. So whilst it doesn't say this, there's no literature anyway that supports this comment of mine. You can do this, I think, with any scale that you want to. And you can do it throughout the whole register, where we're moving through pitches without using the correct valves, I suppose, the way it is. Brian Davis has got a fantastic video regarding some of this note bending on airflow music. I shall try and get a link to that in the description. And the final part of Flexibilities 3 Part 2 moves back to more of a traditional lip flexibilities, where we're moving around the intervals, but we're putting note bends in there. So you'll hear what's happening here. Basically, in the second note of every group of 4, we're bending down a semitone, but then we're moving down chromatically. And the last exercise of this flexibilities section is an elongated version of this. So that's it. That's the flexibilities section from Flexus by Laurie Frank. And there will be exercises from other studies out there that I want to demonstrate. Again, I hope you enjoy this little look into what I do for practice, particularly as I'm trying to protect my embouchure, protect my playing ability, protect my teeth away from discomfort, and really just try and obviously demonstrate ways to play trumpet that might not naturally be out there. Not a lot of people have heard about Flexus. I hadn't heard about Flexus until about, I think it was 2020, maybe 2019 during lockdown. I'd had a copy for a long time. It was gifted to me by a good friend, and I just never got into it. And this isn't a Flexus review. This isn't about Flexus. These are about components of a study that I find really, really beneficial to me at this stage in my playing. So that's all, folks. Let's see if we can play 3 octaves without using any valves on a trumpet. Okay, maybe not the cleanest pedal notes, maybe not the cleanest of anything in there, but you know, a little bit of fun, it's all possible. I hope you enjoyed that, folks. Stay tuned, more updates coming, more videos coming, as much as I can get out before I lose my teeth and get a new set. Stay safe, stay smart, and keep practicing. Cheers, bye-bye.